actually, that's not quite correct. Behind me there, that's the Biarritz Lighthouse. Biarritz is on the beach of Biarritz is on the other side of that lighthouse, and I'm actually at Anglet Beach, which is just north of Biarritz. And this particular beach is actually called La Chambre d'Amour, the love chamber. And it's associated with a legend of a couple that used to meet in a cave here. And he was a poor fisherman, and she was the daughter of a wealthy landowner, a wealthy farmer. And they used to meet in the cave, and then one night there was a huge storm, and the cave filled with water, and they were washed out to sea. So that is the legend here. And if you walk down that way a little bit, you can still see the cave. It's fairly full of sand now, but it's still there. So, and as you could tell, probably from the sound of the surf and just looking at the surf, it's a big tide. It's a big swell today, and we are probably maybe 12 hours away, not even that actually, a few hours away from the full moon in Capricorn. So I'm sure it will be a big tide tonight. So you are getting some wonderful water energy. That's something different for my videos, isn't it? I have taken you with me from the Mediterranean, and I've traversed the Pyrenees. Well, I've travelled along the Pyrenees, and I'm now on the Atlantic Ocean in the southwest. And in fact, you can't, when I'm over on Biarritz and on a really clear day, you can actually see some of Spain, like looking towards the coastline where San Sebastian is, around the Bay of Biscay. So I'm right near the Spanish border, and it's beautiful here. And this is my home away from home. It's my European home, because my friend Marae lives here, and I've been coming to visit her since 2008. And it's sort of the perfect place for me to be recovering from the one retreat and 2 pilgrimages that I've held so far. So I'm very grateful to her, because I was actually quite exhausted, and the heat wave of the last week hasn't helped. As you can see, it has cooled a little, certainly here, for the last couple of days, and it's just so beautiful now to feel the cool air. So anyway, there's always someone who wants to sit right next to you and listen to what you're doing, isn't there? Busybodies. Oh dear. Anyway, this video is a little bit of a pondering of the journeys that I've had, where I find myself at now. I started to write a newsletter yesterday, and I started with "My brain is mush." And that's actually how I feel right now. I feel like I'm in the chrysalis. My brain is mush. I've just sort of dissolved my form. And that dissolving is a part of everything that I have experienced in these retreats and pilgrimages. It's always big for the one leading as well as for those experiencing, and to go from one and then have a week's break and into another and have a week's break and into another. There's not a lot of integration time there. And I arrived in Biarritz a few days ago, and I truly just felt like mush. Everything, like physical, emotional, mental, every part of me. And I seem to have been left with so many questions about what is this all about? What are these journeys about? Rather than answers. And I know that they're all threads of something that will come together, and I will create something new. There will be a metamorphosis and an emergence of something new from this. But right now, although I'm just getting tiny little glimpses, actually where I'm at right now is just in sitting with the experiences and the energies. So I thought, partly to help my integration a little bit, but also to share with you what is going through this head of mine in relation to these pilgrimages, I thought I'd just do a little, almost like a recap of what I have taken away, or certainly what is still sitting with me as a result of them, and where I'm at with that now. And it's been really interesting, this journey, because it has been a journey of the waters. And I didn't expect that, because every other year the journey has been very much about the roses and the rose line. And although that's woven into this, look, I'm still here, I'm still at the waters. I feel like, and I'm just constantly being immersed in different, water in its different expressions. And I know that that's having a profound effect on the waters in my body. And I chatted to this a little bit in my last video, which I did a couple of weeks ago at Rennes Laban. But anyway, so I thought I would just do a little recap and where I'm at and what might emerge from this, because obviously whatever emerges from it is also going to be something that I share more about here on my channel and in my Substack writings. And if you're not yet following me on Substack and you are a Substack user, I'll put the link below for that, because certainly once I return home, I'll be home in 4 weeks, I'll be home. I will be really focusing on growing my Substack posts and notes that I'm putting there. So I'd love to have you along for the ride. I'm actually enjoying it even yesterday, because I'm following Rebecca Campbell on Substack, and she posted yesterday, and I responded to what she was talking about, because it's what I used to talk about years ago when I used to talk about business energy. So I left a response, and then she responded, and then I responded to her, and she responded back. And it was actually really nice to have that connection on Substack, which I think you wouldn't normally get elsewhere. It just, maybe you do on the other social media platforms. I'm not on them, so I don't know, but I'm really loving the community there. So if you aren't there, or if you aren't there, you might like to join. If you are there, please follow me, because that's where a lot of my future writing will be, and videos also. So anyway, that was a little aside, one of my little asides. If you are new to my channel, I'm Jacqueline Atkins, and I'm currently in Europe hosting 4 journeys, 2 retreats and 2 pilgrimages. So there is 1 retreat left, which is Glastonbury, which begins in 3 weeks. 3 weeks today, actually, when I record this on Monday. And that retreat is going to be almost like a culmination of everything I'm sharing with you today. Like all these threads I'm talking about in my mind right now that are coming together, I know that's going to ground in the Glastonbury retreat. If you wish to join, you still can. And all I'd have to do is book another place at dinner on our first night. But other than that, I still have space for extras in our meeting space in Charleswell Gardens. So if you would like to come to Glastonbury, let me know, send me an email. The link's below for the Glastonbury details, because that is going to be a big one, and it's the last one I will ever do in Glastonbury. I really should not say that. In the foreseeable future, and with what I feel right now, it's the last one that I will be doing in Glastonbury. And as I've said before, I'm not returning to Europe next year, so I don't know when I'll be offering retreats here again. Okay, so let me share what I've been pondering. The Magdalene retreat, the Provence retreat, this is the 4th year in a row I've done it in its current format. And it's different every year, because obviously there's different ladies come every year who bring a different energy and a different, they hold a different aspect of the Magdalene frequency. And so what's created is quite different. You know, I was this year, after being on that land again, and actually my friend Marie, who I'm staying with here, joined me in Provence this year. She's always wanted to come, and she came on this particular retreat, and we were talking about last night at dinner, and she said to me, you know, my favorite part was the forest in La Sainte-Baume, on La Sainte-Baume, more so than the cave and the church. And I get it, because I'm the same. When I'm in that forest, it is magical. The energy is so profound. And I experienced this last year, and I talked about how the trees told me last year that they were a living library, that they held the truth of what had happened there. And what I found this year was I was even going deeper into that. And on Substack, I've seen a lot of different writers talking about Magdalene and her life. You know, they're looking at it from a scholarly point of view, and that's their approach. And of course, it's important that people do that, because that's actually not my interest. I love reading details, but I'm not interested in studying it. But I came away from the retreat this year going, why are we so hung up on what the true story was that happened 2,000 years ago? Like, why? Why are we getting into the nitty-gritty of it? Why is it so important? Because I think it was important, and it has been important, and I'm sure they could give me a ton of reasons, and I would honor that, respect that. But where I'm at is she had to be remembered in her truth, which is why the story had to be told again. This is why so much was revealed in terms of really from the books, her Lost Gospel and so on, that have been found. So all of that was very important. However, there's so much debate within that too. And for me, and I've said this before, it's about the frequency of the Magdalene energy. We're all carrying that frequency. We're carrying the frequency of the Mary and the Mary line and the Mer line, which I'll talk more about in a minute, and we're carrying the frequency of the Magdalene. And when you think of the Magdalene and you think of what an empowered, well, I could say woman, talking about the woman, but it is such an energy of empowerment. It is the triple goddess that I'll talk more about, the white, the black, and the red, the rose goddess. It is the triple goddess. This is what's held in the Magdalene codes, and we all hold this, and this is being activated in us. And this is why her story is so important at this time. This is why her story has emerged at this time. You know, it's no accident. The timing is perfect. I guess it's just that my role is to focus on how can I support you and anyone who comes across my path to recognize that light that she held is the light that you hold. And how can you bring that forward in your life now? Because this is the light that's required for this incredible new reality that we're moving into, that we're co-creating. So I guess it's more just that my interest is really moving away from the nitty-gritty of the story. And even when I'm here in France, and even with the first retreat I did, and then the last pilgrimage I just did, where we were visiting sites connected to the Magdalene, or is it connected to the Magdalene frequency, I found that I didn't need to know the details. I wasn't concerned whether she was actually there or not, or whether that chapel named for her was because she was there, or was it named that because she represented the empowered female, and prior to her was an Aphrodite temple because she represented the empowered female. And then the names changed with the sort of shifting of energies and frequencies from different epochs. Anyway, this is the sort of stuff that's been going through my head. So that's what I've sort of taken away from that. And that's what I'm sitting with. And what does that mean for me? And what does that mean for my work? And then the second, after that, of course, I went to Paris. And I did talk about this in another video. And I created a video in Chartres. And Paris, for me, I was just contemplating this. There's a little church just near my friend's house. And it's a Mary church, and it's not that old. It's from 1932. It's quite Art Deco, and it has the most amazing glass windows. I might show a couple as I'm talking about this. And so I went in there to contemplate and to look at the glass windows and some of the scenes. There's the most beautiful one of Joan of Arc. I think it's the most beautiful one I've ever seen, and it links her with Archangel Michael. And I've always made that link. And Archangel Michael's presenting her with the sword of truth, as I always call it. Anyway, let me come back on track, Jacqueline. So in Paris, this is what I was contemplating in the church. In Paris, it was very much about the art. And wherever I went, whether it was in the Louvre, whether it was in the churches or in the exhibition that I went to of Hilma af Klint, it was all about the art and what was the art telling me and what was the art activating me. And the art in the architecture as well. And that's what I felt I brought from Paris. And then, of course, went from there to Sardinia for the Priestess of the Sacred Waters pilgrimage. And there I encountered water in a whole new way. And I'm still sitting with what that journey gave me. I feel like I felt water speak through me in a way I haven't previously. The Mary energy as it is connected to the waters. And that goddess frequency became more embodied in me through we went to so many places to do with water, whether it was swimming in the sea or in, going to the sacred wells, to the thermal baths. We swam in so many different types of water. And interesting, like looking back now over the 3 journeys, the last day of that pilgrimage, and we went on a boat trip down the coast, on the east coast from Calagononi, down to the pool of Venus, and to some other places there. That was the most joy-filled day I've ever had on a retreat. We laughed and we sang, and admittedly, it was helped by George, the skipper of the boat, who played fabulous 80s music, and he was just so joyful. And we were just all in this state of incredible joy. But I also feel that was linked to the waters. That was linked to the reclaiming of the water goddess. I feel, this is very sacral chakra energy, and joy, of course, is an expression of the sacral chakra. So that's all going through my head, and like, what does this mean? How is this piece dropping in? And then I went from there to Rennes-les-Bains to have my personal pilgrimage, and I shared a video from there. That was another profound experience where I remembered the work or the writings I was doing 20 years ago about the Merline and what that meant. And so that thread was sort of dropping in. And then I went on my next pilgrimage, the Mary and the Dragon. And this is the one that I'm sort of still recovering from, and I haven't sat a lot with the energy. I haven't picked up too many threads from that yet. But the threads from that were to do with the white goddess, the dark goddess, and the rose goddess, but especially the dragon frequency as that comes through the rose goddess. So I want to give you a little sort of illustration of that dance that was being done through that retreat between these 3 energies. We began in Carcassonne. So I went straight from Rennes-les-Bains to my waters to Carcassonne. And from there, I won't actually do a step-by-step itinerary, but the first part of the journey, when we went to Roses in Catalonia, and Roses is on the sea, it is so beautiful there. We swam every day, or most of us swam every day. We were visiting the Venus Aphrodite temple site where there is still a spring. On the promontory of Aphrodite, we were immersed in the white goddess energy, and Aphrodite represented that. This is the Mary frequency, the frequency of the sea. And there was a lot of joy there. in that embodiment and connection to the white goddess in roses and the sites around roses that we visited. And then from there, we sort of completed our journey with the white goddess. And then we went up to Montserrat, just out of Barcelona, to the beautiful, beautiful sacred mountain. Oh my God, that mountain. And you see her as you're approaching, because Montserrat means serrated mountain, and you just see her sort of risen out of the landscape with all these serrations, and you drive up into it to where the monastery is, and the basilica there. Oh, it's so beautiful. And anyway, of course, the Black Madonna is there. And so this was the Black Madonna part of our journey. We spent a lot more time alone in Montserrat so that we could journey with our own Black Madonna. Because one of the things that came through in a circle with her, she said, as the Black Madonna, now there's so many different interpretations of what the Black Madonna means, but the way she spoke to us for this pilgrimage was that she was our reflection. And she said, I am not only reflecting the shadow that you're not looking at, I'm reflecting everything you're not looking at, and that includes your light, because most of you will not look at the strength of your light. These days, you're a little bit more prepared to look at your shadow, but you will not look at the light that you shine, which was such a powerful message. And last year, I created a video there. You might have seen it. I was up in the mountain. I'd been hiking, and I was talking about how the Black Madonna in Montserrat, La Moreneta, how she's in the basilica. She's sitting up really high, and you looks down over the church. And I was questioning that. I was saying, why was she taken out of her cave? Why is she being put there for everyone to see, up out of her natural habitat? And this year, I was like, because she has to be brought out into the light now. Everyone has to see her. Everyone has to be prepared to look at her and see their reflection, not only of the shadow. What else are they avoiding? They're avoiding their incredible light. We're as scared of that as we are of the darkness, as Marianne Williamson so eloquently said. I won't try and recall her exact words right now, but it was basically that. And so that was the message of the Black Madonna. We were so fortunate there. My friend Montsa, named for the mountain, her name is Montserrat, who was born in Terrassa, just below the mountain, came up and shared stories of the mountain there and the brothers there, and so many beautiful, beautiful stories that really gave us an insider view of how sacred this mountain is and the community that have lived there. Really amazing journey. So that was our journey with the Black Madonna. So it was like we went into the light first, and we played and we had fun in the light. But then it was like, okay, let's look at the reflection now. And what aren't we looking at? And that's where the Black Madonna took us in Montserrat. Absolutely amazing. So when we completed that journey, we then, this was a week ago now, we then crossed through the Pyrenees. It was time for the dragon part of the pilgrimage. Now, little did we know that day we left Montserrat, the heat wave was going to start. So we really went into the mouth of the dragon. We crossed the Pyrenees. We were there for the Festival of St. John, which is the summer solstice festival, which is held on the eve of the 23rd and the day of the 24th every June. But around Mount Canigou, which is the mountain, this sort of beautiful, big, easterly mountain in the Pyrenees, sacred mountain, sacred to the Catalan people on both the French side and the Spanish side, because originally Catalonia was that entire area. So this mountain is sacred to them. And this was a Catalan festival that they had, which is the festival of fire. So We were in scorching hot weather, celebrating the Festival of Fire in a mountain associated with the dragon frequency. I mean, Piren, who the Pyrenees was named for, Piren is fire, so we were there for the dragon and we felt the heat of the dragon. Oh my gosh, what a powerful way to finish. And fortunately, we stayed in the most divine Airbnb that looked out across to Mount Canigou and had a pool. So we could just sort of temper the fire with the water energy. We kept the water with us. That part of the journey was quite exhausting for me, still, because I was driving the van. I was holding the circles, channeling where channeling was required, and, just keeping everything running smoothly. And then to have the heat come in as well. And I'm great in heat usually, but it really knocked me about. And I was very disappointed that I actually didn't make it to the festival on the night of the festival on St. John's Eve. That morning, we did go to a festival in Verneuil-les-Bains, which is in that town when they ran the flame down from the mountain. So the night before they lit, well, people from all around the villages around Mount Canigou had gone up to light the flame, or to carry the flame actually from Perpignan. It's an eternal flame. They carried it up, lit a bonfire at the top of Mount Canigou, and then the next morning, the morning of the 23rd, that group carried the flame down the mountain and into the village of Verneuil-les-Bains. So we were there for that, and all the school children were singing songs and greeting the flame, and it was so beautiful. And then all the villages, now Mount Canigou is a big mountain, so there's a lot of villages around on both sides. And I think even down to Barcelona, they come and they get the flame and they carry it for the festival that night, and so then it's lit in their villages. So I did get to see that. Unfortunately, we also had planned a hike that day up Mount Canigou to an abbey there, which is amazing, but it was just too hot for me, and it wiped me out. So that night, there was no way I could go to the festival, and in fact, only two of the ladies ended up going. I spent the evening in the pool. They had an incredible time. We got some amazing photos. So it was quite interesting that I had planned this whole journey, this 9-day pilgrimage to culminate in this festival, and I didn't actually get to the festival in the end. But we each did it in our own way, and we were there in the fire for sure. So I'm still pondering that, and what does that mean to me, that dragon energy, like the dragon energy burnt me out, basically. So I did my beautiful integration of the black Madonna and the white Madonna. When it came to the rose goddess, I don't know, I got burnt. So I'll have to sit with that one a bit more. So that's a thread that's still dangling for me. But oh my God, it was an amazing journey. And then our last day, we drove back to Rennes-les-Bains. And we immersed ourselves in the waters there, including the thermal springs. So we had the cold river and then the hot springs that run into the cold river side by side. So we actually had the fire and the water together, and we had some beautiful experiences there. We went to the Pool of the Dragon, which is where I recorded my last video from, and we all swam in the Pool of the Dragon, or the Dragon Pond, I think it's called. Amazing, amazing. So we brought the fire and the water together, and this, bringing all these threads together, as I said, is what's preparing me for Glastonbury, because Glastonbury is about the triple goddess, the white goddess, the dark goddess, and the rose goddess. And how are we integrating that? Because the rose goddess is our action. When we have fully integrated the black and the white, we have integrated our feminine. And then the rose goddess coming in is what you would call the yang energy, the masculine energy. It's the action. Okay, you've integrated it. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to move forward with it? And this is what we were exploring in our time of Mount Canigou, when we weren't in the pool or in the hot sun. And that piece is still landing for me. what am I going to do with it? How am I taking this forward? And just in the last couple of days, I've had some insights around this. It's not clear enough to be spoken yet, but I know that in my couple of weeks here, and then I have a week in Glastonbury before the retreat starts, I know that these threads are going to create a beautiful tapestry. And by the time I return to Australia, I'll be very clear on what's my journey, what's my rose line moving forward, where's it taking me? Maybe it won't look that different to you, but I know to me it will. I think I said that in the last video. So yeah, I'm still playing around with that idea, but this Pyrenees Odyssey, unbelievable journey, unbelievable experience for everyone. And those pieces are still falling into place. Anyway, I wanted to just give you just a little taste of that journey and of where I've been so far, what's going on for me. I suppose I want to share the fact that as the holder of these retreats and pilgrimages, I experience as much shift and change in my frequency as those who are participants. And so like them, I require space afterwards to integrate. And so this is my integration time on this beautiful, can't go on this part of the beach. See often there's parts of the rock fall down. So that's the fence there. But anyway, there we go. There's more of the beach here at La Chambre de Mort. So thank you for joining me. This was a long video. I hope that you've been able to hear me okay over the noise of the surf. Wishing you an incredibly beautiful full moon tonight. And if you're listening to this afterwards, maybe you're still in the energy of it. So much love to you, and I'll speak again soon. Rose blessings to you.
Get 50 seriously free spins when you join, and 200 more when you deposit and spend £10. No wagering required. Sky Vegas. Play. It's why we're here.
Fulfill your everything orders with ShipBob. Perfect. And then here, just marking out a few points that need measuring, right? It's very important that I lay it out all really well. So. Mhm. So this already is and hold on. Since this is a big meridian, let's take away the dark green. Okay, we just use this. I feel like there's no clue what they call this in English. I know in Dutch this is called heeldruk. So let me use this flexible heeldruk. I think I'll just mark it in the center of your face there. Just like this. Okay. Oh, actually, since we're here anyway, let's do the horizontal meridian. Just like this. It's more difficult on our face, of course. It being really, here. Like so. Measures around. Just mark it here. Good. Now let's see. I need to do some diagonals, obviously. #21. Let's do red, maybe. Yeah, do red. So where did we measure? here, and we went here, we just went through here, and then we came out there. Let's see, I think this room will be a little bit more suited. This. So, and just continually go like that. And we measured everything. I'm not going to put it in centimeters, I think we've got that. But we need to check that with the other diagonal walls. This left side should be about here. Through this point, that point, and this bit. Oh, we did mark it. Great. Let's see. Okay. Get this in place like this. Okay. Following the curve. Okay. Okay. Now we grab this one again. This is a 22. Okay. This again, and that's definitely a 21. How odd. Let's go in with some blue, maybe? Yeah, that's everybody likes blue. Now we just need to do 1 centimeter of this. Hold it like that. Mark out some very critical points. Connect the dot.